Hi guys, so today is Christmas cactus class. Oh my gosh, this is the cutest little cactus ever. I wanted to give you guys something fun that wasn't like a traditional Christmas design, something that you could offer your clients if they're wanting something a little different. So what I decided to do for this class was a cute little cactus, and then we just threw some little Christmas decorations on this. So it may not be the traditional Christmas, but it's going to be super cute. And with this one, if you don't necessarily use it for a winter design, you can always use this cute little cactus during the rest of the year. So this is kind of like a double bonus class. You're learning how to do something now that you can Christmas up and use at a different time of the year as well. I didn't want to throw on a ton of Christmas goodies with this one because I just wanted to keep this one a little bit more simple. But if you guys wanted to add on, say, a little star or some extra Christmas decorations or whatever, feel free. Totally can go all out with this little guy. But I wanted to give you the basics of drawing a simple Christmas cactus, little cute cactus, some little designs on it, and then you guys can just basically go from there. So let's start with this one. I'll list off all the colors that I'm using and we'll get going. So you are going to need a mixing palette of some kind, whatever you guys use. And I've got 3 different small brushes that I use to do my detail work with. I will talk about these really quick because I get asked quite a bit what I use. These are watercolor brushes actually. I usually buy them off eBay. Sometimes Michaels carries them, but usually eBay is where I end up getting them. So I tend to reach for these 3 sizes the most. So that's what I use right now currently, but I tend to stick with the Kolinsky brushes. I find they work really well with the gel polish and the gel colors. Okay, and this little guy here, especially this little guy, the one in the middle, I love this one for detail work too. So a tiny brush is your best friend. All right, so we have all the colors. I chose to go with sort of like an orange kind of base palette for this one. If you want to change up the colors that you're using, feel free. I just wanted to go with an orange sort of base tone because it's a cactus and they're kind of that color pattern that goes really well with the green. You could change this up and do blues or pinks or reds or whatever your little heart desires. So I just chose to go with orange. Reds would definitely be a little bit more festive and Christmassy if you wanted to do that. Or this would also look good with blues, depending on what colors of green you're using. That will go really well with your other colors in your palette, okay? So remember that as well. I picked greens that will go really well with orange. If you're wanting to go with maybe a blue little pot for this and like a blue background, make sure that you just change your green colors around to go with the colors that you're using as your background and your accessory colors, okay? So what I've used here today, this is Luxio Shy for my background color. This orange is Instinct, Luxio Vert, Options Tender Leaf is this mid-tone green right here. We have Luxio Volt. I have Luxio Sunburst, Luxio Lookout. This one is Luxio Prerogative and Luxio Sassy. So that's what I've got for my palette going on here today. Again, change up the colors as you want to. This is not a set thing, but whatever you guys happen to have in your drawer and whatever you would like to use for this little guy. So for this cactus here, what I've done is mixed up my greens a little bit to create this really sort of variegated look. If you want to create more of a solid color cactus, you totally can. I'm just going to show you guys how to mix your colors up a little bit and give it a little bit of depth and dimension without having to go to great lengths to do so. Okay, so I'm going to leave this. Where can I put this so you can still see it? Right about there. Okay. So I'm going to start with Instinct. We're going to do the little pot here right on the bottom. And I'm working on a size 2 tip, so it's a little bit bigger. Obviously, you will have to alter your design a little bit if you're working on a slightly different size or shape of a nail. So I'm just going to start here with this little pot. Can you guys see okay? So we'll just start around here, And you also sort of have to think of when you are placing this design on the nail, make sure you've got enough room at the top above it for the cactus to fill in that space up there. And I am working on my tacky layer. So I've done my 2 coats of base color and I've cured it. Make sure that you leave that tacky layer because that allows you the ability to wipe up your product a lot easier. The color won't run as well, which is huge. So it's a lot better for you to leave that tacky layer on there. Okay, we're just going to put some little legs on here. Okay, so we're working with gel. We can just do a quick freeze cure. I'm just going to fill in this little spot right here. Make sure that my color is even. And get that little spot right there cleaned up. Okay, so I'm just going to freeze cure this really quickly. So depending what light you're working with, obviously, it'll depend on your freeze time, but I'm going to do mine for about 3-4 seconds, and that will be good. Okay, so let's start with our cactus here. I'm going to mix my 3 greens together to create different greens because we want to have that multi-toned look to it. So I'm going to take a little bit of vert and a little bit of tender leaf. Mix those together and get this really pretty mid-tone color. And then I'm actually going to take a little bit more tender leaf, whoops, here, and some Luxio Volt. And we're going to make another color. Don't be afraid to mix your colors, you guys. Like, I love mixing my colors together and getting something that's like completely awesome. It's okay. The options colors and the Luxio colors blend together perfectly. I'm going to throw a little bit of vert in there, or so not, yeah, vert. I'm going to throw a little bit of that in there. It's really nice to be able to create a color that you just don't have, and you know you would like to have. Maybe you're like, oh, these greens are all pretty, but I don't have that really cool mid-tone color that I'm looking for. Mix them all together. That's the beauty of being able to work with gel and make something that you want to see. I just have a little bit of a low spot on my planter pot here that I see, so I am going to give that one more quick coat. Make sure that I don't have a shear spot on there. Get rid of that. Okay, back in the light we go with that guy. Sorry, yes. So mix your greens together. So I've got dark, medium, light, a couple different tones here. So this is going to allow us to create the variations in color. Okay, let's see if we're good here. Perfect. Okay, so what I've done with this cactus is create one basic shape and a couple different points leading off the side of it. You guys can do whatever shape you want for your cactus. If you're not sure how to shape it, you can just go online and look for pictures of cactuses to see how they look and kind of get a general idea of what maybe you would like to draw. So I'm going to start, I left a little bit on each side of the pot. I haven't filled up the entire container with cactus shape. So I'm just going to get an outline going here. And then I'm going to take some of these mixed colors that I've used and just start filling in. And as you use your colors and layer them, you will start to create this cool multi-layered tones within your cactus. And there's not really a set rhyme or reason to which colors go where, or where they need to be placed, or how they need to look. It's a cactus, you know, have fun with it. And we are going to go back in with our gel play black and add a bit more detail to it as well. So some fine lines and some little spikes and stuff. So don't worry about that part right now. What we're just doing is getting our basic shape of our cactus going. And clean up that little spot right there. So let's add in our side pieces. Right here, we'll put one over here. And same thing, we're just going to use our colors mixed up, whatever you feel like grabbing on your brush. Just like that. You can see how the colors are blending and giving that cactus a little bit of depth, a little bit of fun to it. So let's throw this one on this side. And again, if you would like yours to be a little bit brighter, maybe you'd like the green to pop out a little bit more, use a different color green. I just kind of went with this palette because it goes nicely with the orange. Okay, and let's put a little one on the side here up top. Gonna get that little bit of green off the pot there. Okay. There is our basic cactus. So we've taken our greens, blended them together, and we have a shape. Not too hard, right, you guys? You can totally do that. So I'm gonna cure this, and then we'll come back and add in our detail. So we're going to be using our Gel Play black paint, and for this one I'm going to be using my smaller brushes. For the lines on my pot I will be using the 00 brush, and then for the little tiny details I'll be coming in with my tiny brush. But we'll be using this guy for the detail on the pot. So let's move this out of the way. I'll just get my wipe with a little bit of alcohol on it. Make sure my brush is clean. Okay, so into the gel play we go. Make sure that you try not to load your brush up too much, because if you have like a clump of gel on there to start with, you're going to have a clump of gel when you put your brush down immediately, okay? So I'm picking up a bit of product and I'm just wiping it on the side of my tub so that I don't have a ton of product on my brush. We want these lines to be there, but I don't want them to be super thick and super heavy. So I'm just going to use a really light touch with my brush, and a little bit of gel paint goes a long way, so you don't need a ton. So we're just going to draw some lines on here. I'm going to sort of do 2 lines on the side over here, one straight up, and then I'm going to angle this one a little bit just to kind of give the illusion that the pot has a little bit of an angle to it. And we'll connect the corner. And keep going with our lines here. Oops, just a little bit heavy with product on that brush right there. Okay, I'll go straight down here. And then we'll just put a little tiny black detail on the legs. Okay, and we did some little dots on it. Okay, so I'm just going to freeze cure this before I continue on so I don't smudge anything up. Give that a couple seconds in there. All right, so now let's add a little bit of detail to our cactus. So what I'm going to do is add our outline detail just lightly. I'm not going to do heavy lines. And then I'm just going to come in and add a little bit of our detail lines on the inside. And again, this is just very light black lines. I don't want this to be heavy. Your outlining detail lines never should be really heavy unless that's the look that you're going for. They're just to add some definition. So you can see that I've stopped right here with my black. I don't want to outline the entire thing because you want to have a break between where these 2 new pieces come out. So I've stopped my line. I'm just going to come a little bit into right there. We want to look like there's some definition, but we're not completely outlining it. Okay. And again, we'll come along the top here. I'm going to go a little bit into that one. I'm going to turn this a bit, guys, so I can actually hold my brush properly and not bash into my camera stand, and you guys can still see it. We'll do this guy here. We're going to outline the top one. And around the side, and then just down the bottom here. Now I just got a little bit of a blob there. I'm going to wipe up on the side here. Clean that up real quick. There we go. Okay, so now we will do our detail lines inside the cactus. And I'm going to keep these sort of moving in a more round direction because cactuses, some are perfectly straight, and if you're doing a straight cactus, do straight lines. This guy, because he's sort of round, I'm going to keep my lines moving in a bit of more round direction, curved a little bit. So we're going to do 2 this way, and then I'm going to come to this side and do 1 going that way. And then on these ones on the top, same thing, they're going to be a curved line like that. Whoops. Oh, sorry guys, my hand slipped. Let's just wipe that up. This is the beauty of gel. I love it. If you make a mistake, just wipe it up. It's wonderful. Okay, let's try that again with my hand not slipping. curvy little line here and there. And we'll just do a couple on the top here. Okay, so now I'm going to come back in with my little teeny weeny, tiny detail brush. And we're just going to add in some little spikes. Because it's cactus. Cactuses have little spikes on them. Because it wouldn't really be a cactus without them, would it? So I'm just using a tiny brush and some very fine, super light strokes on this, okay? We don't want a heavy hand, because if you use a heavy hand, then your little spikes will be way too big. We definitely don't want that. Now, I'm not putting a ton over it, but we definitely want to have something showing on our cactus. You can put a few in the body of it if you would like. If you're not adding on any lights, if you're just going to use this as a regular nail design, you can definitely add little spikes into the body of this. That would be totally fine. But because we are going to be putting some little Christmas swag on it, I don't want to put too much into the body of this guy, because it'll sort of get covered up anyway. Okay. How's that? So let's cure this. For a couple seconds, make sure that black is nice and cured. I'm also going to grab a small dot tool for doing our little Christmas decoration bulbs. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my which brush do I want, guys? Sorry, my 00. And let's add some swag. You can do this whatever direction you would like. This, just because of the way I've placed my cactus, the way the flow goes, it just sort of felt nice to kind of start from there. If you want to start the other direction and work your way down, you totally can. Just depending on how you've placed your cactus and what shape it is. So let's just add on some little light swags here. And then we'll take our little dotting tool and we'll just add on some Christmas lights at whatever point you feel you would like to. And again, I just picked colors that were sort of complementary to the tones that I had used. You guys pick whatever you want that's going to work for your color palette. And just place these wherever you want. Whenever you feel like you have enough on there, that's perfect. If you want to add a little bit more detail in there with your color choices, whatever you would like. I think that's pretty good though. I don't want to complicate this too much because I don't want to detract from the cactus itself. I think that'll be perfect. So I'm going to cure that, and then we will add on our Shine On gloss top. This would actually be adorable matte as well. Actually, let's do this matte. And we've got one shiny, and let's do this one matte and see how it looks for you guys. What the difference is. So we'll do one shiny and one matte. Because actually I think this is going to be adorable matted out as well. So there you guys have a super cute Christmas cactus. Oh my goodness, best thing ever. I can't wait to see what you guys do with this one. I'm kind of excited to see your different designs and what you can come up with for different shapes, different color combos, different palettes, all that fun stuff. And this one's just got a few seconds left for matte. And I'm kind of curious to see how this looks matte. I think it's going to be adorable both ways. This would be great if you wanted to add in some cute little rhinestones, maybe some glitters, some bling. And there it is. Oh my God, it's even cuter matte. Okay, so there's your two options, you guys. One shiny, one matte. Who doesn't love a Christmas cactus? So enjoy, play around, and show me what you guys can do. I'm kind of curious to see what you guys can all come up with. And I will watch for it on the Facebook page. And we'll see you all with the next class. Have a great day, you guys. Bye.